Bonjour, folks. Today we're going to the French forest of Fontainebleau to have a look at 3 separate style of boulders. We're gonna check out La Marie Rose, the first 6A boulder in the world, and probably one of the most famous slabs that exists in this world. After that, we're moving on to a boulder that's slightly less known and hosts one of the most insane features that you can find, and also a pretty good example of a style that Font is also quite notorious for, the mantles. Last off, I got a bunch of dynos in store for you, starting off with the infamous Rainbow Rocket dyno that I'm sure many of you have heard of before. We're gonna dive into some secrets and kind of my thinking on how to approach a boulder like that, and then jump around on some other stuff as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now let's get started. So we're at the first 6A in the entire world. I'm gonna check later on and I'll add when this was established in the text down below, but I think it's like 100 years ago or something. So it's quite old, and we're gonna do it in 2 styles. I've climbed it already several times throughout the years. It's just a classic Fontainebleau slab, maybe a little bit like easier than most of the 6A slabs in Font, but it's a classic, and we're gonna just take a little look at it because it's definitely a boulder that everyone should climb on when they're in Font. So yeah, let's give it a whirl. Okay, so that's the boulder in short. Definitely gotta do if you're in Font. If you flash it, you should know that Abrahamsson did not. It's been a recurring conversation every time you talk about this boulder. So like some of these footholds are really slippery, and I think he's like slipped off at like the first move or something. Yeah. Anyway, it's time for my second favorite game, which is to climb barefoot. It's something I've gotten quite into since I got to Fontainebleau, because the rock is really smooth, so it doesn't hurt your feet at all. If you climb barefoot on granite, it hurts like crazy, and it's actually quite nice to climb barefoot. It feels very like stimulating. Next up, we're going to take a look at Echoes, one of the like nicest 7As, don't you think, Cordi?
Absolutely.
In all of Fontainebleau, and also mega classic. Well, it's actually not that much of a classic. I don't think it's so popular, but it should be, because it's one of the most aesthetic mantles that I've ever seen. Yeah, let's move on.
Hey guys, it's Cordi talking. I'm here to show you one of my all-time favorite boulders. This one is called Echoes, and it's a beautiful, technical and delicate 7A which is situated in the forest of Fontainebleau. It was actually right on this block that I understood for the first time what people meant when they said, "Oh, I saw this beautiful block." Echoes is mainly composed out of this one sloper rail, which you use throughout the whole climb. In short, you start off matching the rail, and once you get your left foot high up, the mantle party begins. This part is really tricky, and it requires body control, balance, good timing, and especially a really strong left leg.
That feels so hard.
Yeah.
I think it's so much effort. I feel sorry for you when you do that.
With this type of boulders, sometimes you just have to take a break from falling, get some stretching done, and then jump back on it.
Nice. Kom igen nu då. Kom igen.
Yes.
Switching between explosive movements and static ones was key for me. You have to lean into the wall, and because the holes you mantle off is so slopey, it's important to make sure that your feet are doing as much as possible. The higher up you get, the harder it is to keep your hips close, and I almost fall off the boulder, but by pushing more with my leg and gaining the right momentum, I can straighten the leg up and therefore get closer to the wall again.
Yeah.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Super nice.
Ah.
Next up is Emil trying out some pretty cool dynos.
I guess this is the next part of this little Fontainebleau fantastics of it. Now we're gonna do a couple of dynos. We're starting off, actually I can start off by mentioning that I have more of a beard now than I did in the previous scene. That's because we shot that like a month and a half back, and then we went to Switzerland, and now we're back in Fontainebleau. Because I'm preparing for competitions and training and doing that kind of stuff. And a part of that is going to be doing some dynos. So we're going to start off on this bad boy called Rainbow Rocket, which is probably one of the most famous dynos in the entire world. Essentially, you start on 2 smears with your feet, basically nothing for them, but they are something. They're like enough to keep you on the wall with the massive jug that you have in your hands. Pull with your entire back as much momentum as you can gain, straight up, and then smack the left foot on a ledge, which is surprisingly slopey until you reach the jug at the top. And I actually had this one in a previous video, one of my first, maybe the 3rd video or something that I posted. And there I tried to retro flash it, which was like a game that I played with my brother, and I owe him a dinner still because of that. Anyways, today I'm gonna try to retro flash it again. So this is retro flash number 2. I want to try and do it on the first attempt and just like keep that focus, keep that psych. So I'm just going to give it 100% and try really hard and do it on the first attempt. Let's go. Fuck! Oh, I didn't commit. That's the cool thing about this boulder, is that it's all commitment. Like you have to mentally engage on the hold like long before you go for it. There I could have had it, like I could have pushed way further with the left leg, but I just wasn't trying hard enough. I'll give it another burn and try and do it now. Okay.
You got the height.
Like commitment, all about commitment. Yeah, I had the height. I could have just grabbed the hold, but I was chickening out before I was there. I have the coordination really well though. That's good, but this is kind of what the day is about, like working on commitment, like doing the rest of the boulders are gonna go on the first attempt. That's kind of the goal, because that means I can commit on them. And it's fine, I haven't done very much jumping lately. I did one, you might have seen in a video before, of a sick coordination dyno in Briona. But other than that, it hasn't been much jumping. So this is good. I'm getting into the right mindset. Let's go. With commitment, it's fucking easy. Feeling pretty satisfied. I've climbed this boulder a few times now for the slow-mos, and it's feeling pretty solid. So that's good. Like, I definitely feel the technique is there. The commitment and mentality behind dynoing is still lacking a little bit, I would say, but it's good to feel that the technique is there, because that's the hardest part to practice, I would say, and to learn. The other parts I can just focus more on, and then it comes back to me. But yeah, we're gonna move on to another dyno. Next one is gonna be called Vin Rouge, or whatever it's pronounced in French. Okay, so for this next one, it starts in 2 undercuts, and that's kind of what the dyno is about. You dyno from 2 really good undercuts and a pretty good foot ledge almost. It's actually better than I remembered it. But then it's a pretty massive jump up to a jug. So yeah, that's what the boulder is gonna be about. Let's give it a whirl. yes. Now that's a banger. Okay, next up we have a boulder called Cannonball, which is like this majestic cannonball feature that you jump to. Not a very hard dyno, but a really cool one. So the really cool thing about this one is that you'll have this like massive ledge that you stand on, which makes it so that you can actually make it into a proper comp dyno by like starting here and then getting more momentum by swinging back like so and then jumping. So yeah, let's give it a whirl. Boom. Right, so that's Cannonball, I think. I'm not really sure if that was the actual start of it. I just hit me that maybe you could do a run and jump start and that's the original or something like that, but it's regardless, jump to the big cannonball is what the fuss is about.
There you have it, folks. 3 separate styles of climbing in Fontainebleau and a bunch of action. Let me know in the comments which was your kind of favorite and which style you prefer. And if you like this video, there's a bunch more to come, and yeah, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, folks.